Today, I'm going to show you how to do this quick and easy player reveal effect. To do the player reveal effect, I'm going to break it down into 5 different steps. Step number 1, super simple, we're just going to select a clip and grade it, have it ready for the effect. Number 2, we're going to rotoscope the footage. Step number 3, generative fill. That's where we're going to make the player look like they disappeared. Step number 4, the linear wipe effect. That's how we are going to make the player reappear. And step number 5, final touches. After I do the effect, I like to add either some shake, some flicker, different things just to make the effect look even better. So let's head on to Premiere Pro. So this is my clip here. It's just one of the players doing a windmill dunk. I want to start the video off without them in the shot. So I'm going to rotoscope them out, generative fill, and then by this point where they're winding up the dunk, I'm going to reveal them and then into the dunk. Oh, also, I slowed it down up to 1%. This was filmed in 120 frames per second. So you could slow down up to 20% when filming 120 frames per second. But if you want to go even slower to have that super slow motion effect, for like in this case, this is again lowered up to 1%. Right click your footage, look for time interpolation, and select optical flow. Because without optical flow, it's gonna look, oh, I guess what's the original one? Then maybe frame sampling. Yeah, it's just gonna look laggy and jittery, like nothing really happens. Whereas if you select optical flow, it has that smooth look to it. It makes it look like it's actually filmed in super slow motion. Anyways, moving on to the effect. Once you have your clip ready, time remapped, we are going to grade our footage. So this was shot in S-Log3. I'm going to convert it back to Rec 709. And it should look like this. If you don't have a Rec 709 converter, just search up online. And there's free LUTs and free converters online. If you use DaVinci, they also have it built in there. Premiere also has something like that. I've never really used it because I've always just had this LUT, so I haven't changed my ways yet. So anyways, convert it back to Rec 709 if you shoot in log. And then we're going to use my LUT to grade it. So I'm going to use my more popular LUT, which is the Black Mamba LUT. And there we go. So it's super punchy right now and contrasty. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take the intensity down to about 70%. And that looks better. So now that we have that, I think it's just a little bit underexposed. So we're going to bring up the whites, bring up the shadows a little bit. So now it looks a little flat. So we're just going to bring down the blacks a bit just to bring back some of that contrast. And there we go. That easy, that quick. And this grade, everyone asks for this grade, but if you want it, it's in my packs. Real quick, if you like the look of this LUT, it's part of my creator packs. Right now, they're buy 2, get 1 free. And every purchase directly supports me, so I can keep making these tutorials for you. And if you want an extra discount, use code MAMBA for $10 off at checkout. I appreciate all the support. Now let's get back into the effect. Now we can head on to After Effects and do the actual effect. So right click your footage, select replace with After Effects composition. Okay, so now that we have After Effects open, if you did end up doing the slowing it down to 1%, again, this isn't needed for the effect. I just like to do this just to kind of emphasize that player reveal. It gives that video that moment where we should reveal the player. So I like doing this effect with it. So if you did do this as well, you're going to notice when you go to After Effects, it doesn't have that optical flow look. All you have to do is right click your footage, go to frame blending, and select pixel motion. And then it should fix that. Yeah, and there you go. Pixel motion basically is their version of optical flow. It's really the same thing. And there we go. Our footage is back up and ready again. So the next step is we have to rotoscope our footage. I'm going to make an adjustment layer, select both. The reason why I make this adjustment layer, if I rotoscope this footage without the adjustment layer, it's going to say that there's a frame mismatch and I have to set the composition to 120. So to avoid that, all you have to do is, again, create, right click, new, adjustment layer, select both clips, and then pre-compose it. Make sure you have move all attributes into the new composition checked, and then select OK. And then once that's ready, look for the brush with the stickman, and then double click your clip. And you won't have that prompt saying that there's a frame mismatch, and your rotoscope will look a lot better. So just brush over your subject as well as you can, and then hold Option and drag the selected parts that you don't want. This is the, I guess, like the hardest part of the effect, honestly, is just making sure that your rotoscope is okay. But with the effect, I honestly, it doesn't have to be super clean for this type of effect, because the generative fill kind of covers it up, and on the speed of your effect it doesn't matter as much. And once you have your player selected, select invert foreground / background, and once you have that selected, click freeze. And then so it's gonna rotoscope our player out. And this is nice because the rotoscope did so well that we don't even have to go back. A lot of the times it will catch a player or that again. Oh, before we move forward, one tip honestly is this was a risky clip to use it on just because there's a lot of moving parts around, but I like to do this effect when the subject is somewhat isolated, where there's not a lot of players beside him or players in front. This was honestly a risky one, but for the most part, the player is pretty isolated in the middle, which is good, so it's not going to catch anyone in the rotoscope. So yeah, and it worked out pretty well, as you can see. Just one click and we're good. So go back to your composition, and this is what your footage should look like. So they're gone. I'm just gonna clean up the rotoscope a little bit. Let's try increase the feather a little bit. That's in the contrast. I'm gonna shift the edge so that it kind of covers, because you can see some of the players still, but with this, it covers it up. Because if you have it increase, you can still see the outline of the player. But if we shift the edge to the negatives, we cover that up. This is important for the content aware. I don't think we need to reduce chatter. Okay, perfect. As it speeds up, we want the player revealed pretty much up to that point. So I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna press Command-Shift-D. It'll split and duplicate the layer. And then we're just gonna delete the rotoscope here, because we know that at this point, we're gonna have the player fully revealed. If you want, leave it like this, right? I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm stupid. Okay. Sometimes the generative fill makes it acts up in some way if there's other clips that you have on your composition. So if you have other clips on your composition, I would isolate this layer, just making sure that the content aware is only seeing this clip, because if it sees other clips around, it'll try and use that information to do the generative fill. But you only want generative fill to use the information from this clip to fill this gap. So make sure you isolate this layer, and it's just this button here. It's solo hides all non-solo video. Just click that. And then you have your content aware fill here. If you don't see it, go to window and then look for content aware fill, and then just make sure it's checked, and then it should pop up. And then once it's ready, you're going to generate fill layer. So I either select surface or edge blend. Sometimes it really just depends what your clip is like and what the results will be. Usually surface turns out pretty pretty well for me. So just generate fill layer, or select surface, then generate fill layer. It'll load, and there you go. You can see it's a little bit distorted, but again, for the speed of what we're gonna do this effect, it won't matter as much. And if you want, you can add Gaussian blur to make it look smoother and cleaner. So add Gaussian blur, increase the blurriness, and yeah, it already looks way better than the original generative fill. There's also an option where you can create a reference frame, but for this instance, we're just gonna keep it as it is. Creating a reference frame pretty much opens up Photoshop so you can have like a cleaner generative fill. But I'm happy with this, so we're gonna leave it. You can pretty much just delete the roto brush here now. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to add linear wipe onto the fill, and make sure you turn off the solo layer. Okay, so solo layers are turned off. We have linear wipe on the fill layer. So we're going to make a keyframe on the transition completion. And then I think I wanted to fully reveal around here. So then we're going to make the transition completion to 100. So it'll look like that. Oh, I think that's a little too fast. I like that. And then we're going to change the angle. So I don't want it to come out sideways. I want to come it from the bottom up. So change the wipe angle to 0 degrees. And it'll come up like that. Think now it's a little bit too slow. Okay, I like that. Speed, maybe just a tad bit faster. And then we're gonna select the keyframes. Oh, actually, wait, before we ease the keyframes, see how it's a harsh line? We can feather that out. So increase the feather, I'm gonna go about 77. Right now, our effect is pretty linear, so we're going to ease the keyframes. See how that looks. And then if you want to, it is eased, but I think I want it to be really fast at the end of the clip. So I'm going to select those keyframes, click this graph, and then we can drag this like this. Yeah, I like that. And then I think I'm just going to drag this a little bit over so the peak kind of, yeah, that feels better because I want it to speed up as it also speeds up. And that's pretty much it. That's the effect. And now we're just going to add some final touches to really complete the effect and make it look even better. So I'm going to save this and open Premiere Pro back up. So it should just be available in your Premiere Pro. I'm just going to render it so we can view it in full speed. Now that we have it open up on Premiere Pro, we are going to add some final touches. I'm going to use my Essential Effects and Transitions pack for Premiere Pro just to add those final touches. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to add a shake and flicker as it's revealing. So I'm going to cut it, and then I think I want it to stop as he dunks. So I have an intense shake and flicker effect. We're going to drag that on. Okay, so my only thing with it is that you can't really see the effect. So what we're going to do is just turn off the shake, leave the flicker. Okay, sick. And then I want to add a quick blur flash on the beginning, so it kind of transitions to the flicker better. And then same thing here, we're going to add a quick blur to transition back to no flicker. Nice. And then I think I want to add my black and white transition. Yeah. Nice. Sick. So I'm pretty happy with that. Again, there's so many other things that you could do to complete this effect, make changes to it. And again, you don't even need these final touches. You can keep it as simple as it was in the beginning. But that's essentially how you do the player reveal effect. I can't wait to see you guys try it. Tag me, let me see what you guys do with it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching my tutorials. I truly appreciate you guys. I wouldn't be able to do these tutorials if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you again for all the support. And my hoodie is coming out soon. I will be announcing the pre-orders tomorrow, so check that out as well. Again, go film something you love today, and peace.